Rebooting Liberty.
Are you looking to start your very own internet radio station or radio network? Do you need a reliable, high-bandwidth, dedicated server? Reliastream offers some of the lowest rates on the web. Reliastream supports Shoutcast, Icecast, and iTunes radio broadcasting. We are so confident you will love our services. We even offer a free 15-day trial. You will also enjoy our free top-rated customer service, free live support, and low-cost dedicated servers. Visit www.reliastream.com. That's reliastream.com to get started.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. The globe, and hello to you, my wonderful Ecclesiastites. It is I, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great grand estate of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. The number that you can call this evening is toll-free, 603-835-3224. Again, that's 603-835-3224. Welcome to the beginning of the week. Welcome, welcome. I do have some news about the program. It is something that is a big change for us here. But worry not. It is a very good change. Now, I know some people are not going to like the change, but change is inevitable. Whenever you're doing something that is working. You want to keep it working. You want to keep the momentum going. And we've got some momentum here at the Rod Eccles Show, which, by the way, is powered by Zinc Media. We've got some changes, and here it is. Beginning the first week of January in 2016, you will no longer be able to hear the Rod Eccles Show for 2 hours. No. You won't be, well, you can. You can listen to it for 2 hours. But if you do that, if you only listen for 2 hours, you might miss that all-important third hour. That is correct. This program beginning in 2016 will grow from a 2-hour program to a full-fledged 3-hour program. The Rod Eccles Show is entering into the big leagues, as it were, because all the big guys out there as everybody likes to call them, the big guys, the real guys, they have a 3-hour program. And I know some of them actually have a 4-hour program, like Howie Carr, but I just don't have that kind of... I don't know how he does it, actually. No, because he's also a syndicated columnist and a columnist for, I do believe, the Boston Herald. And he writes full-time. Plus, he does a 4-hour show daily. I don't know how Howard... kudos to Howie Carr. But here in the Rod Eccles Show, we'll be growing from 2 hours to 3 hours beginning in January of 2016. Now, with that change also comes a time change, a major time change. You will no longer be able to hear me live from 7 to 9. I know some people are saying, I know, Rod, we got it now. It's going to be 6 to 9. No, it will not. I'm going back to the time frame when I first started this program back in 2009. And this is what you're going to hear. 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. That's right. 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Now, let me tell you the advantage of that. First of all, you're going to get me for 3 hours. And then many of you are going to switch over to Rush Limbaugh for 3 hours. You're going to get a double dose, double whack of true conservatism, although I will probably end up being a little bit more conservative than Rush, but that's okay. There's room for everybody. So the live program will switch to 9 a.m. to noon, beginning January, right after the Christmas holiday break. Notice I didn't say winter holiday. I said Christmas holiday. So sometime around that first week of January, I do believe I was shooting for the 4th, but I think I will be out of town delivering a keynote address to not just one, but I'm told 2 different events down in the Carolinas. Over the weekend and through that Monday. So, Tuesday the 5th will be live for 3 hours. Right here. On the Rod Eccles Show. It's been a long time coming. Now, this is actually, for those of you who are historians of the program, know that this is not my first go at a 3-hour program. I once did a 3-hour program when I was over with the CB Media Network, Conservative Broadcasting Network. Now that network no longer exists, I do not believe. But great bunch of couple of great guys over there that did run that a few years ago. It was back in 11 or 12, 2011, 2012. And I tried to help them fill their airtime with a 3-hour program. And I got my first taste of how much work that is. But obviously, on a nightly basis, I'm cut off short with 2 hours, with still so much to tell you and discuss and let you know about. And 2 hours just isn't enough. And, look, all the professionals, the real professionals, the big professionals out there, they've got it down pat. They understand that 3 hours is the sweet spot for such a program, and that's exactly where we're going to be. After, of course, you're going to have me, and then I know some of you are going to have to just make your decision to listen to Glenn Beck. I know Glenn Beck has got the spot 9 to noon, but let me tell you something. I'm aiming for Glenn Beck's spot. Got it. Because I don't know where Glenn Beck has gone. The man is just, look, I'm not going to bash anybody else's program, but I'm not going to bash Glenn Beck's program. I'm just going to talk about Glenn Beck, the man. Now, I don't know where his thought process has gone. He's become, some people think that he might be suffering from certain mental ailments. I don't think that is true. I just think this is what Glenn really believes. And if it's not, he does a good job of of foisting it on his listeners that this is what he currently believes. But he's kind of odd. I'm not sure exactly what. It's not just like talking about liberals. I would not. Now, a lot of people say that Glenn Beck is a libertarian. Okay, I got to be frank. Over the past 3 years, or so, ever since he left Fox, I really have not paid too much attention to Glenn Beck, other than to notice that he seems to have gone in a different direction than what he. And I guess it began at Fox, which is why he left Fox, because even Fox said, Glenn, you're kind of weirding us out here. And sometimes when I catch Glenn, I'm just thinking, where is he coming from with this kind of. But I guess he's got a more libertarian bent, and that's fine if he really believes in that. And I know there are people listening to this show that they try to put me in the category of libertarian. Well, I'm not a libertarian as they would describe it. I'm a constitutional conservative, and that is, in my book, is not a libertarian. A libertarian just doesn't believe in any strong federal government, period. In fact, the more whacked out libertarians don't recognize, personally, they don't recognize government above the county level, and that's just asinine. But I'm not here to bash Glenn Beck, but I am telling you I'm going into his time slot. So move over, Glenn, because here comes Rod. And after you finish hearing me, you'll have Rush Limbaugh, and you'll see by listening to Rush exactly how right I am. And you'll also find out that sometimes you kind of wonder where the big guys get their materials. They do kind of listen to the rest of us. Don't let them fool you. Them and their producers and the people that work for them, they listen to the rest. They do. Because it's awfully interesting how sometimes a story that isn't very big gets picked up by one of the big guys. And the only way that they're really going to be paying attention to it is if they hear us. Now, you guys are going to, what they might call the second tier people. So, you're going to hear a lot of that. Guarantee you. A lot of stuff is going that I'm going to talk about. Naturally, some of the bigger stuff is going, obviously, the rest of the big guys like Rush and Hannity and Levin and all the others are going to pick up on. But pay attention to some of the stuff that isn't so big. You're going to start hearing them talk about it after I do. I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just saying that is what I have observed in the past when I was on the air before all of them in the morning. And I'm sure that certain thing will continue. Because a lot of times, which was really interesting, is when I went to an evening show, you didn't hear the big guys talk about some of the things that I talked about later. And they were already in the ethosphere, if you will, for news. It's already out there. They had plenty of time to talk about it before I did. And they didn't. And then on a number of occasions, I've noticed, a day or two later, talked about it. Just saying, I'm on the leading edge here. Guys need to be paying attention here. I got the stuff that the big guys don't want to talk to you about, or, we'll talk to you about later, maybe. But, yeah, I know that, I hope everybody had a good weekend. Yeah, so don't forget it, 9 a.m. to noon, starting in January 2016, is live. And I know some of the stations that I'm already broadcasting on are going to carry all 3 hours. I know a couple of stations are switching the time. So you'll need to pay attention to your station. I know some of the stations will be carrying me live and some will not. But if you have a favorite network or station that you listen to, my suggestion is that you contact them, email them or call them, what have you. And suggest that you'd like to hear me live on their network, 9 a.m. to noon. I'm sure if they get enough emails or calls, they'll make the accommodation. It's always the listener that helps determine what's going to be on a network or a station. And that would be you. But this in no small way is all me doing this. This is obviously because of you, the listener. We got some good news over the weekend about numbers from October. And let me tell you, they have gone through the roof. The number of people tuning into this program. You know, they don't call it Nielsen ratings anymore, but, you know, the thing that everybody's familiar with, Nielsen-like ratings for this program. You want to talk about, after I heard the numbers, you want to talk about a shock and a surprise in a tremendously good way. I mean, this program is taking off. And that's all due to all of you out there listening, sharing this with your family, friends, and neighbors and coworkers, and you know, going and following me on places like Twitter and Facebook and Google Plus, and even I've noticed a lot. There's an uptick in sharing or repinning over on Pinterest. A lot of good stuff over there on Pinterest. So that's because of all you people who are listening and following and paying attention. I thank you very much for that. Now, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. It was, you know, Halloween, of course, and I know that the Halloween thing has changed over the years. I mean, now we've got things like trunk or treat. Now, I'm sorry, I get it. That is the, you know, I understand that you know, some community leaders and some parents mean well. You know, they're trying to protect their kids, but that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. Hey, kids, get into your politically correct costume so I can take you to the local parking lot where people will be there with their cars and their trunks open to hand out. Now, I don't know what that says about the people who are willing to get into their car with bags full of candy and drive to a parking lot so they can pass out that candy from their trunk to kids. Now, if I remember correctly, that's the kind of stuff that we learned when I was little about the stranger danger. You know, aren't you sending a mixed message to your kid? Hey, if you're in a costume or the adult is in a costume and it's a stranger at their car, it's quite a right for you to go up to them and get candy from them. Now, aren't we telling kids, well, don't accept anything from strangers in a car? Because they'll snatch you up and kidnap you. That's what we tell our, and then we confuse them by saying, oh yeah, at night even. You know, not just in the light of day, but in the dark of night, we're going to a parking lot so you can see all these wonderful strangers, little Timmy and Sally, with candy being passed out from the trunk of their vehicle. Now, I know some people think that, well, because all the parents are there and we're paying attention, and I think you're sending a mixed message. I think it's stupid. And I think in the long run, this isn't going to last because people are going to find out that there are problems and issues with it, and you're confusing the hell out of your kids. Especially the younger ones. Oh, sure, the 10-year-old, the 12-year-old, they get the difference. But you want to try to explain that to a 4, 5, or 6, or 7-year-old, you're going to confuse the hell out of them. I don't support it. I just don't. I know that they've done trunk or treats around here in New Hampshire. I'm just not for it at all. I mean, look, why don't you just take away childhood, period? You know, you're afraid of everything. If your parents are going to be afraid of everything, you just take away childhood. Keep your kid locked indoors until they turn 18. I mean, look, the world is a scary place. And here's a newsflash. It always has been. Kids have always been kidnapped. Kids have always, even the 30s and 40s and 50s, kids were kidnapped, kids were molested, kids were killed, murdered. Now, I'm not trying to frighten you any, but what I'm saying is that this has always happened. The only difference is now that our population is so much bigger, so there's more people. And our news seems to think that all of this type of drama stuff is news, and they will exploit it and play it over and over again. Not to mention because we have the internet today, and we didn't have it 20 and 30 years ago. You think you're seeing this stuff all the time, and what you're seeing actually is the repeat of the same stories over and over again, but you're seeing them everywhere. Instead of just the 3 or 4 networks, now you've not only got the 3 or 4 networks, but you've got the multiverse of internet networks that's also bleeding over into cable TV, because 20 or 30 years ago we didn't have as many cable channels as we have today. There weren't as many news cable channels, and they all have to fill their airtime. So what do? They take all the stuff that they can possibly think that they can sensationalize, and they play it over and over again all day long. And you, on the other hand, think that it's something different and new every time you hear it, but it's really the same story, just repurposed. I mean, it's kind of, if you look at, was it Daily Mail? Daily Mail UK and a couple of other tabloid-esque type of news outlets online. There was a time when all we were hearing about is students, high school students, being molested, if you will, by their male and female teachers, and it was always the big story was always the male, until there was a couple of big cases where females actually got female teachers got impregnated by their high school teenage lovers. The real interesting thing is that they made it sound like this was something new. But as I investigated it, I found that this was a story that wasn't new. And this has been going on for a long, long time. And that's when I did my investigation, I also found out that boys were, up to, depending on the study that you're looking at, up to 7 times more likely to be sexually abused than girls. Because, in many cases, boys are at risk for male and female attackers. Where girls, on the other hand, tend to, I know it just sounds kind of stupid to say only, but tend to only be attacked by male perpetrators. It's kind of rare for a gay woman to attack or to entice a teenage girl, an underage. But hey, the straight women seem to go for the boys all right, though. A lot of them. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep your teenager home now because you're afraid that one of the teachers, be they male or female, is going to make sexual advances towards your kid? Look, the world has always been a dangerous place. And I find it interesting that some parents, when their child is not in any danger of such an attack, will take great strides and to try to remove their child from the dangerous quote unquote school. But the kid isn't learning anything, and or he's being indoctrinated by the left for to believe in all this global warming crap. And the parents are okay. You know what? No, I can't take my kid out for that. No, can't do it. Don't have time or the money to do that. No. Little John has got to fend for himself and actually try to learn something. Just find it interesting what parents will allow and not allow. What I find it interesting on what types of things will scare them. Very interesting. But yeah, the kids were. I don't think I see as many kids going out trick or treating anymore. And again, that's due to parents trying to protect. Well, it's the same thing as we don't keep scoring soccer because they don't understand it. when every time you ask the parents, what's the score? Parents and the coaches say, well, we don't keep score. We don't know. Ask the kid, oh, it's 5-3. We're winning. Kids keep score. See, when you don't think a kid is paying attention to stuff, that's when you better start paying attention, because the kid is paying attention. Yeah, kids are not as stupid nor as innocent as we like to think that they are. They never have been. It's always been a pipe dream. That's only in fairy tales and Disney programs and Disney movies. Reality always has been that kids are a lot smarter and a lot more open-minded than parents and adults give them credit for.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSInstitute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you are being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
the way, for those of you who do not know out there in Ecclesiastes land, yours truly is a regular contributing author over on the AlanBWest.com, Alan West website. That's right, that Alan, Colonel Alan West. I was invited to be a contributor, and from what I understand, my couple of articles have been published over there already and have done very, very, very well. So you might want to, as I ramp up, because, it takes time to actually, I just can't, I do. I mean, it takes me about 30 minutes to pump out an article. Really. Simple. I don't know where it comes from. God just channels through my fingers and I just write it out. The stories just sort of, and ideas just drop in my lap, actually. I don't have to really think too hard to find a story. And these are timely, especially for the Alan West side. I mean, you got to be you got to be current, like, yesterday's stuff. I take today's topic and write it like it was yesterday. That's the best way I can put it. Because the Alan West side, you want to talk about being right on top and right on time and timely for just about everything. Colonel West and his staff over there, his team over there they are awesome, and they are definitely on top of just about everything. So in order to be a contributor and be able to write, you have to write timely pieces. It can't be something that was, even a week ago. It's got to be now. And I've been able to master that, it seems. And they're doing well. So see how far, as I ramp up to contribute even more over there, you will begin to see, I am just humbled by all this. I really am. Being frank with you people. I mean, this is a year ago, 9 months ago, I would not have even have dreamed or fathomed that this would be occurring right now. And that's due to, a number of wonderful people out there. My agent, she's a spitfire, a firecracker, as she's often been called, has done an outstanding job. Not to mention, many of the people who broadcast or owners of networks and stations that broadcast this show have done a wonderful job, absolutely outstanding job of marketing the program to their listeners. And that's how, obviously you get big by having people who do what they do and know how to do it right, and then get people to talk about it. And the talking about is just going through the roof. I mean, I may have a particular message that you like to hear, but let's face it, without all of those other people doing what they do so well, you wouldn't even have heard of me. So I do have to acknowledge all those people and thank them very much for all their hard work, and hopefully they believe now that that was not hard work in vain, but it was definitely worth it. Because let me tell you, this is a season of being thankful, right? Because we got Thanksgiving coming up. And let me tell you, I am thankful for each and every one of those people in my life right now. I am, hey, God knows what He's doing. He puts people in your life when you need them. And sometimes you don't even know it, but they're there. So pay attention to new people who enter your life. Because you never know. They're there for a reason. Sometimes that reason isn't always, oftentimes that reason isn't often clear to you at first, but you have to pay attention. You may have been praying about something for a long time or praying for it very hard, and you think that God isn't either hearing you or isn't answering you, and He's given, it's kind of like, the proverbial flood victim. This person is on his. He gets forced. There's a big flood that comes. He gets forced upon the roof of his house, and he prays to God for, for God to come and save him. And then there's a kid that paddles by in a canoe and says, hey, you need some help, and person says, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm in God's hands. I'm good. And then finally, he continues praying, and then somebody comes by, rescuers in a motorized boat, and he says, we're here to help. Are you okay? Do you need some help? We can get you off of that roof. And you say, well, no. God's taking care of me. I am good. I am set. And the water's rising and rising, and the current's getting faster and faster. And then finally, for the last ditch effort, there's a helicopter that comes, and the water's at the roof's edge, and you're starting to get splashed by the raging river flowing by, and they say, jump on, grab the rope, and you say, no, God's going to take care of me. And then the rushing floodwaters exceeds the height of the roof, washes you away, and you drown, and you get to heaven, and you say, God, Lord, I prayed to you and I asked for your help, and you didn't help me. You let me drown. And God says, no, I didn't. I sent the kid with the canoe and you ignored him. Then I sent the rescue team in the motorized boat and you ignored him. And finally, I sent the helicopter with the rope and you refused to grab it. So you see, sometimes what you have to do is when God gives you the opportunity, all he's doing is saying, here it is. It's up to you to take it. It's up to you to run with it. Well, God's saying, I'm putting these people in your life and you're not paying attention, or you're ignoring them. But you have to pay attention. I mean, prayer is, one part of it's prayer, one third is prayer and 2/3 is actually getting out there and doing the work. Because remember, whether you are a Jew or a Christian, God has said, if you don't work, you don't eat. By the sweat of your brow shall you grow your food. By the sweat of your brow shall you eat all the days of your life. In other words, God is more than happy to answer your prayer, but you've got to go out there and do the work and recognize the opportunity when he gives it to you. And I think I just happened to take advantage of the opportunity that God set before me when he put the certain people in my life at certain times, and I am grateful and very thankful for that. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. And, Thanksgiving is one of those holidays that's being skipped. The other day I was, over the weekend I was looking at, it was Halloween, and, traditionally, Halloween has, over the past 10 years, has grown to be this phenomenal holiday. It has graduated, if you will. Halloween used to be all about kids. You had some neighbors in your neighborhood that may have dressed up, in benign costumes, and some adults might have liked to scare the kids friendly. I was one of those. I like to scare the kids on a friendly basis, kind of get you the gotcha type of thing. But it was really for kids. It was an adult holiday. Now, over the past 10 or 15 years or so, Halloween has morphed into an adult holiday. I remember, back in the wonderful, glamorous days of the 19th century, the 1800s, and in the 20s and 30s here in the U.S., we had something called the Masquerade Ball. And adults would go to these masquerade balls, usually around in October, around the Halloween time. That was the adult version of Halloween. It was very elegant, very proper. But today, the Halloween party is all kinds of different levels from the college kids that just didn't get enough candy as a kid, and then now they're at college and they're just throwing these beer bashes. And the costume is actually just a second thought. To adults having massive Halloween parties. And again, there's nothing wrong with it, but it is no longer a child's holiday. In fact, Halloween is number 2 behind Christmas in terms of money spent on it in this country. Now, frankly, Halloween is not a huge holiday in most other nations across the globe. It isn't. It is nowhere near second place behind Christmas. But here in this country, it is. And now we have more adults that are participating in the festivities of Halloween. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen older teenagers running around outside, going door to door. I don't know if that really ticks off the neighborhood, adults or not. Well, the kids you're stealing the candy from all the little kids. But yeah, because I think I was probably a freshman the last time I went trick-or-treating. And we did it as a lark. At 13, 14 years old, you kind of felt like, oh, geez, I'm a little too old for this now. Not anymore. Not anymore. Not anymore. So we have this, we're a nation now that is willing to celebrate just about anything. Except for Thanksgiving. And now, when I was growing up in elementary school and stuff, we learned about the Pilgrims. And in Thanksgiving, always seemed to have this type of certain type of decor. And a part of that decor was the turkey, the live turkey. You even made them in school with the tail feathers and all that kind of stuff, different colors. And it was always pilgrims involved, and pilgrim children and pilgrim adults. It seemed these pilgrims were, because that's really the whole point of Thanksgiving is to celebrate what they were celebrating. The providence, them making it through, and, paying attention that God sent them, the Native Americans, the Indians, to help them winter over and survive. But that seems to have been lost. And now it seems like, look, this year I've noticed something. Because we used to always complain about, they're putting out Christmas decorations and Christmas stuff earlier and earlier. And then it was in September. You started getting Christmas music in the stores and Christmas decorations. This year I noticed something. There wasn't much Christmas in September. And the reason is because it was replaced by Halloween, which began showing up in stores in August. And it seems like Halloween has become the number 2 holiday. Christmas is still the number 1 holiday. And Thanksgiving is in between the two of them, and it's totally lost. Now, I dare you to go to just about any major or minor store, department store, and try to find some semblance of Thanksgiving holiday decor. It's a near impossibility. It almost doesn't exist. You try to look up that kind of stuff online, and you type in Thanksgiving decoration or decor or Thanksgiving this, and the stuff that's returned to you on Google, Bing, and Yahoo is ridiculous. There is nothing out there. It's a lost holiday. Now all Thanksgiving is people getting together to overeat and watch football. That's it. There's no thought of what the holiday means anymore. No, not at all. And that's sad, because it means that we as a society are forgetting where we came from. And when you forget where you come from, it is very easy for people to manipulate where you're going. Because all they got to do is just take away your history. You don't know your history. You don't know what has happened, how we got here. Oh, well, and then they can just manipulate and say, well, that, this is what happened back then. That stuff that you may have learned or your parents learned, no, forget about that. This is what happened. And they'll reshape it to be something that it wasn't, so it's easier for you to believe that this is the way it should be in the future. Socialism. Oh yeah, with this, we've always, ever since the turn of the Industrial Revolution and the big guys and the Carnegies and all those ultra rich people, they got taken down by the government, man. They were slapped and taxed and boom, bada boom. And then the worker, man, the unions came along, and that's how we take care of people. That's not the true story. But this is what people are being told today. So it's easier for them to accept a Bernie Sanders and an Elizabeth Warren. So it's easier for them to accept, hey, government's supposed to be able to take care of you, and we should be taxing, all the rich people so we can take care and give government free stuff to everybody else. See, that kind of talk 100 years ago would never have worked. But they took hold of our history. And now Americans don't know where they came from. And because of that, it's so easy to manipulate. Now, there was, I think I just posted something over on Facebook. And this is how ignorant the American population has become. And it's sad. Now, I'm not saying stupid. I'm saying ignorant. Ignorant is you just weren't educated, you weren't taught, you don't know. And there was a man on the street video about Hillary Clinton. And this guy is going up to young people, most of them females, and asking them, hey, Hillary Clinton is her campaign. Now, this is a lie because this is not what Hillary Clinton said, but, just doing a man on the street type of thing. They make up all kinds of questions. And he's basically saying, Hillary Clinton's campaign is saying that, that Sharia law is a good thing for women. Do you think that that's the direction that she should go if she were president? Do you agree with her? And I was amazed at how many people said yes. Now, see, first of all, he set up the question by saying Hillary. That's all anybody needed. That's all anybody needed to hear was the name Hillary. Hillary Clinton. Oh, yeah, she's a woman. She's for Sharia law. It's got to be good. Well, I'm sorry. Do you not know what Sharia law means? Evidently not. And in this day and age, I cannot figure out how everybody in this country is not clued in on what Sharia law is, where it comes from, what it means, how it does not advance women's rights. And yet you had these women, college-age girls, college-age girls, and some of their boyfriends or BFFs, whatever you want to call them, acknowledging and saying, yeah, well, if Hillary's for it, then it must be good. Yeah, I'm for it too then. I did see one reaction where the girl said, I'm not sure what Sharia law is, but I guess if Hillary's for it, it must be good. Now, at least she admitted she didn't know what it was. I mean, that's bad enough, but at least she admitted it. But then she went ahead to say, oh yeah, Hillary's for it, then I'm for it. This is what I'm talking about when people don't know where they come from. They can be told where they're going. And those who are doing the telling won't get a fight. Because if they don't know what's really happening, where we came from, what it was all about, how we got to this point, if they don't know what's happening in their past and in their present, it is very easy for somebody just to point them in a direction that they want them to go, and they will not get a fight. Hey, Sharia law, Hillary Clinton says it's good. Oh, okay. That must be good then. Do they even bother to check? No, because they have no basis with which to check. Because they were never, ever taught. They were always taught, hey, be a good little boy and girl, be a good Johnny and Susie, and just do whatever the teacher or this person tells you to do. Just because they'll never lie to you, just always listen to them. And so now they get to the point where they're an adult. Some semblance of one. They're over the age of 18, so legally they're an adult. And they get asked a specific question about something that they should know about, but evidently they do not. And then they're told, well, this leading authority figure by the name of Hillary has just said, whether she said it or not is irrelevant to them. They're being told that she said it. They're not supposed to question. Remember now, they've been brought up for the past 18 years not to question. So somebody who looks like they're an authority or knowledgeable, like a reporter, hey, Hillary Clinton said, and they go, and well, I don't know what that is, but if Hillary says it's okay, we're not supposed to question, so we should go along with it, because they don't know where they came from. They don't understand that this country started by somebody, the founders, questioning authority. They don't know that. And so it's easy for this man on the street, and he's just giving an example of how easy it is to manipulate people, and they will not question. So again, if you do not know where you come from, if you do not have that base, if you do not have that ability in your mind to question, you will be easily led in any direction that the people in authority want you to go. We see it happening more and more today than ever before. Again, I don't know how to emphasize this any stronger. We as a nation are being manipulated to go in a certain direction because as a nation, we do not know where we came from. Now, sure, you and I, if you're listening to this program, we know. But unfortunately, we are becoming more and more of the minority. And we're being seen more and more often as radicals or extremists. And think about it. Did you, if you're over the age of 50 or 60, did you ever think there would be a day where you would be labeled an extremist simply because you believed in the Constitution? If you believed in the actions, statements, speeches of our founders, well, constitutionalists are considered to be extreme righties. That's right. Yeah, you and I, we're extremists. If we believe in the Constitution, we're extremists. And that's because the younger generations do not know where they came from. And to a great degree, we can blame one major generation for this change. Some people are not going to like it. Think of the baby boomers. You think about, which is really kind of odd, because the baby boomers, the flower children of the 60s and early 70s, what was it? Never trust anyone over 30 and question authority and always question authority. They've raised two generations that have been taught to not question authority. Think about it. You were under the age of 30 or 35. You were taught basically not to question authority. And because of that, hey, those under 35, they may have more bachelor's and doctorate degrees than any other generation in history. But let me tell you, there hasn't been any generations more ignorant than those under the age of 35. They may know some book learning, but real world facts, they don't have a clue. And those that do try to get a clue, well, they're ostracized, and they're called extremists. That's how you get Occupy Wall Street. That's how you get Bernie Sanders, who garners 10, 20, 30,000 people at an event. 70% of them under the age of 35. That's how that happens. Because when you dumb down your society, and the adults of the time, the parents of the time, do not stand up and say, we're not going to allow this. We're going to actually have some real education. When they don't do that, your kids are then programmed to believe what they are told without question. And then when that happens, that's when we get people like Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders who can get away with what they get away with because nobody wants to question them. They just want to believe.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Into the mouth, and that's not a good thing, even when you smoke a very good cigar like this Padron, or Padron, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Welcome back to hour number 2, here on the fastest 2 hours on Internet Talk Radio. I am your lovable host, El Rod, and I am still coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere in the great grand estate of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. And, of course, the number that you can call should you wish to join me live here on the program is still toll-free, 603-835-3224. Congratulations to the Kansas City Royals. You know, when I was younger, congratulate to them for winning the World Series. First time in 30-some years, I think, 30 years. When I was younger, I used to have 3 favorite teams in football and basketball and baseball, professional sports. I've always liked the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I used to like, the Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. I know, weird favorites, I get it. And for basketball, I always like the Celtics and the 76ers and the Lakers. And I know that's kind of, how can you be a Lakers fan and a Celtics fan, right? Well, when you're a kid, you can. And you have you have them numbered. So whenever the Celtics and Lakers played, well, my number 1 favorite was the Celtics. And in baseball, I always liked, I know this is another dichotomy, the Yankees, Dodgers, and Royals. And whenever the Yankees played the Dodgers or the Royals, I always rooted for the Yankees. But I always liked, for some reason, they were never the big team. I've always liked the Royals. And even though I don't follow professional baseball anymore, I still have kind of this soft spot for the Royals. I can't explain it. It makes no, I mean, because royalty, we don't have royalty in this country. Well, not supposed to anyway. So I can't explain this soft spot that I've always had for the Royals. And I was, when they were going through the playoffs, I was quietly, even though I was not following professional baseball at all this year. I don't even know how the Yankees fared. I don't. I didn't care, but when I heard about the Royals, starting to march through and get to the playoffs and then march to the play, I was kind of quietly rooting for them. Now, I didn't watch a single inning of the World Series, but I was rooting for them over the Mets. I know a lot of people over there like the Mets. Yeah, good for the Mets. Sorry that the Mets lost, but somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose. It's the way it is in sports. So I'm really happy for the Royals that they won the 2015 World Series. Now, I can't explain why I still have a soft spot. I don't have a soft spot for any professional baseball team, really, except for the Royals for some reason. I always feel bad when they do terrible. Oh, man, those poor Royals. They just can't seem to get it going. And then when they did, finally again, I'm thinking, good for them. Because you always expect that the teams like the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Red Sox, and to a certain degree for a while, the Blue Jays, you expect those teams to always win. But it's nice to see other teams, the underdogs. Now, I don't know if the Royals were considered underdogs this season, but, frankly, in the greater scheme of things, they are an underdog in baseball. And they won. Congratulations to the Royals for winning this year's World Series. You have something to be proud about. You guys worked hard and you deserve it. Now, of course, if you're Bernie Sanders, he's probably thinking, well, I don't know, I'm sick and tired of hearing about your damn hits. Let's get back to the whole issue of making sure that nobody loses in professional baseball anymore. I mean, that would be Bernie Sanders. Can you imagine socialism in sports? Remember this whole... I think that they have stopped giving out these participation trophies now because, depending on where you are, I've heard of these stories where, at the end of the night, garbage cans are full of these participants because a kid is not stupid. They don't want a little dinky participation trophy. They didn't, their team came in last place. I remember that. That's something you did not want to be in. I remember playing Little League Baseball one year. It was one of the first years that I played, and the team came in last place. You know what the league did? That league? No, it was for bowling. Now, and I think I still have that trophy at my parents' house. But bowling, I belong to the YABC, JABC. I don't know what it's called today. The Youth Bowling League, kind of like the Professional Bowlers Association, the PBA. Well, this was the youth version of that, I guess. And I remember the first year that I was playing in a league and bowling in a league, and my team came in last place. 5 kids on a team, and we came in last place. And we got the coming up the rear last place trophy. Now, I know adults think, that isn't that cute. You guys came in last place. Let me tell you something. All 5 of us were pissed. We didn't want to be in last place. And it wasn't that we got a trophy that reminded us of that. It's just that we lost. We were upset with ourselves for constantly losing enough to be in last place. In other words, that meant that no other team lost as many bowling games or matches as we did. That's what it meant. We didn't like it. I got to tell you, I was never a part of a losing team again. I think every year after that, let me just go back in my history. Yeah, every year except for one, my team was in first place after that last place season. We wanted to win. I wanted to win, man. But these kids today, they're not buying this participation crap. I know here in New England that there was I think it was in Massachusetts, where it actually made the news a couple of years ago, where the kids all tossed their participation trophies in the garbage as they were, and that particular league, it was baseball. They no longer provided after that year participation trophies because kids keep score. You know, you adults may not be keeping score, and you're thinking that that's being fair, but let me tell you, kids keep score. They know the deal. So you can't protect them from some of that stuff. But anyway, congratulations to the Royals. I am glad that they finally won a World Series, first one in about 30 years or so. Well, and there are still some teams that haven't won a World Series. I mean, look, it's White Sox, Chicago. When was the last time the White Sox won it? It's almost been, was it 1919? The Black Sox debacle? Wasn't that the last time that they won a World Series? So it's almost 100 years, going on 100. Well, the Red Sox were that way, 80 some odd years between their wins, right? Look, 30 years isn't so bad in the greater scheme of things. I do believe that there are some professional baseball teams that still have never won a World Series. So I don't know who they are because I don't no longer follow professional baseball. And I loosely follow professional football. And really the only team that I really care about in professional football is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know I used to like, the Patriots, and back in the day of when the Patriots had Pat as their mascot. Grogan was the cute quarterback. I always thought he was a scrappy kind of QB. And Steve Grogan. That's 80s is probably about the last time I actually paid attention to the Patriots. Really, I mean, I'm not a Patriots fan, but look, I've often said it. Tom Brady is arguably probably the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. Can't take away his skill. He can't move. He's not swift. Sometimes he's not pretty. But, he's kind of like the Larry Bird, I guess, of football. He can be ugly at what he does, but he definitely has the capabilities of getting the job done no matter how, and sometimes there's beauty in that ugliness. Look, I don't care how pretty you think Tom Brady is. That's irrelevant to me. It really, he's a good-looking guy, but I don't care. Frankly, I don't think his wife is all that pretty. Giselle, not my type. I don't, what are you, crazy, man? She's gorgeous. No, I don't think so. It's okay. She's not a dog, but she's okay. But hey, a lot of people, guys think that she's gorgeous. Fine, that's good for them. I don't have to follow the pack. Never have. Never will. Why I do this show. So Obama signs his 2-year budget deal. And basically Washington just sticks its nose up at the rest of us, the American people who are saying no more debt spending. No more. What good is having? We never get this question asked or answered. What good is having a debt ceiling if all you're going to do when you come knocking up to it is you just go ahead and raise it? What good is having it? I have been asking this question ever since they every time they say, "Oh no, we're going to come up against a debt ceiling. We got to raise a debt ceiling, or else all hell's going to break loose. So everybody, every country, and every the economies are going to crash and blah." So why have a debt ceiling limit then? If all we're going to do is every time we come up close to it is just decide, well, we'll just raise it. Well, what good is having it? Well, I guess they've decided, Boehner and Obama and McConnell and Reid and Pelosi have decided, what good is having a debt ceiling? And so I guess the whole deal is to suspend the debt ceiling limit for the next year and a half or so. So that, whatever Obama wants to spend now, doesn't got to worry about debt ceiling limit. So now it is out there that Obama is the $20 trillion man. There were people that were saying back when he was elected in his first term that they were saying that the way this guy likes to spend, that by the time he leaves office, our debt would be closer to $20 trillion. Man, they do not realize how accurate they were. And I remember all these wonderful liberals and Democrats and other people who were in support of the first black president in American history. Oh, no, don't be so negative and pessimistic. He's going to control his spending. He's going to control the debt. It's never even going to get, past 10. It won't get past 10 or 12 trillion. Well, let me tell you something. He blew past 10 and 12 trillion without even looking back and slowing down. And with less than a year and a half left in his final term, he's standing at 18 trillion, over 18 trillion, knocking on the $20 trillion door. So I don't know where this guy is going to stop. Or if he will stop. When Mr. Obama took off, and this is from the Washington Times, when Mr. Obama took over in January 2009, the total national debt stood at $10.5 trillion. That means the debt will have very nearly doubled during his 8 years in office, and there is much more debt ahead with the abandonment of sequestration spending caps that were enacted back in 2011. So Congress and the President have just agreed to undo one of the only successful fiscal restraint mechanisms in a generation. I don't know how successful they think that. We're at over $18 trillion. How successful was it? How successful was sequestration? It wasn't. I mean, look, this is what I'm talking about not knowing where you're coming from and not knowing and questioning, because there are a bunch of people out there that'll just look at this and say, oh, well, sequestration was a success. It was an abysmal failure. Now, granted, it was originally designed to try to keep people like Obama in check. It was originally designed so we wouldn't add to the debt. But obviously, one, the original sequestration bill that eventually became law was weakened. And two, it obviously didn't stop the president from spending. The president is just, and the Democrats have opened up the checkbook, national checkbook, and have been writing checks ever since 2009. There has been no success but you have all these wonderful people out there who are now, voters, who are thinking, yes, sequestration, they said it was a success, but now we got rid of it, so, oh well. No, it was not a success. It was a total abject failure. But then again, as it was signed into law, it wasn't designed to really stop anyone from spending us further into debt. Well, I mean, let's face it. Republicans under Boehner and certain others, McConnell, the Congress had no guts or will to stop the spending. No, not at all. I don't know. Some people will not get it anytime soon, but I am all for a balanced budget amendment. You strip out national emergency and military from it, and the rest of it has to be balanced. I'm sorry, but you can't constrain our military because we don't know what is going to be needed or how they're going to be called into action or what they're going to be called to do and how much that's going to cost. So really, you need to be able to be flexible with military. And again, with national, you can budget so much for national disasters for a year, but you don't know if you're going to get another Katrina or something worse or a major earthquake or something. You can't fully budget for that kind of stuff that you don't know about. The other stuff, yes, that should be balanced. We shouldn't be spending forget our kids and grandkids. We're now stealing from the piggy banks of our great grandkids. I mean, these are, hell, we're stealing from children whose parents haven't even been born yet. Put that in perspective. We are stealing from the piggy banks of American citizens whose parents have not even been born yet. Whose grandparents are probably not even born yet. Think about that. And we just keep piling on, and we keep getting these idiots and these jackasses from the left who want to spend and spend even more. Look at Bernie Sanders. His budget alone, if he gets everything that he wants, his budget alone would cost $18 trillion. Now, if we have an economy and taxes that only bring in $3 or $4 trillion, where do you think that other $14 trillion is going to come from? It's going to be in the form of debt. So, in other words, in one term of a Bernie Sanders presidency, overnight we go from 20 to 34 trillion in debt. Bam. And it doesn't stop because we all know that government programs never cease. They never get taken down. That's the truth. It never gets taken down. They always stay. Government programs, once enacted, seem to have a life of their own, and they're immortal. I don't know why that is. Because if something doesn't work out in the private sector, the people get, they get rid of it. They change it. They revamp it. They start over if necessary. No, not our government. You get programs that don't work, no, just throw more money at it. It'll work eventually. But they're not designed to work. That's the problem. Because there are certain things that government, because it's government, is not designed to do. No matter what kind of form of government you have. It's not designed to do that. That is not, if you just look at it's not universally capable of becoming a success. It has nothing to do with, it's just the way government is. There are certain things that each individual must do for themselves, and works better if they do it themselves. And there are certain things that are better if there's a central a support and central command. The military obviously works best when you have central command. But social programs work best at the individual level, not involving government. There is no central command for social programs because it doesn't work. And it can't work, especially at this level, at this size of government, because of the massive size and the massive amount of money. It just isn't capable of working. I don't care who you are. Yeah, hey, these people, young people are told, well, it can work. It can work, man. We just got to tax the hell out of some people that you don't like rich people who already pay the bulk of taxes. We'll be back.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSInstitute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you're being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
Eccles Show.
And we are back. Welcome back. I'm still your lovable host. Leading Senate Republicans pressed the administration earlier today to explain how it plans to recoup some $2.4 billion in loans to Obamacare's flailing co-op program, and whether consumers will be able to get new coverage without significant hiccups. Now, this comes as officials in Arizona announced on Friday that its co-op will close in 2016, meaning nearly half of the 23 programs set up under the Affordable Care Act have failed. Did we not predict this? Did we not predict this? Well, hey, I don't. You know, we can continue talking about this. I have no problem with that. I would rather see some action from the GOP. I mean, they're piling on about this now. Hey, yeah, where are you going to get back that $2.5 billion in Obamacare co-op money that all these states took, and they're all going out of business now. They're calling them startups, by the way. I mean, this is what you call a private business that's opens its doors and starts to do business. Those businesses are called startups. They're trying. These are startup failures. A lot of these failures in the startups and many of the other half that are still running, they're in financial dire straits. Look, none of this was designed to work in the first place. What part does the GOP not get? It wasn't designed to succeed in the first place. I mean, look, all you got to do is go back a few years before, Obama was even elected, and you can hear Bernie Fwank talk about how, universal single-payer universal health care is the ultimate goal here, but the only way that we're going to get it in this country is if we go, the mandated route and, the Hillary care route and the Obamacare route, and that's the way we're going to. He would love to have been able to have pushed forth universal single-payer health care when he was still in office, but American people just won't go for that. Our goal is to get universal health care. No. Yeah, American people wouldn't go for it. But hey, if you kind of just, if you don't, it's kind of like the proverbial frog in a pot. If you just slowly turn up the heat, people will get used to it. And look, I talked about this last week. We as Americans, we seem to be warming up to all kinds of socialistic and communistic ideas in this country. It's as if we've given up the fight in a lot of this stuff. TSA. Oh, everybody was incensed by the TSA when they first started. And now, it's like you mention the TSA to people and they're like, oh well. What are you, crazy? Let's get rid of Obamacare. Get rid of Obamacare. Well, now too many people have it, and they're going to be upset if they lose it. And the American people, generally speaking, are like, oh, okay. Hey, you're going to be whacked with a huge tax bill. Starting in 2016, 2017, up into 2020. And American people are like, oh, okay. Well, have the two major parties in this country, have they really ripped the spine out of the American people? I mean, that must be the case because, Americans constantly complain about Congress. Congress this and Congress that, and this person in Congress, and it seems like the only way we get rid of some of them in Congress is when they decide to quit. Which is why it's such huge news when a long-standing incumbent loses a race. Because that doesn't happen. Because the American people don't seem to fire anybody. Well, what are they going to do? How are they going to feed their family? Man, they're not having a job. Now, I love how they portray these things. This is from the Washington Times, and I quote, "These nonprofit consumer-run health plans were intended to improve coverage, increase competition, and provide more affordable options." There is no increased coverage. Consumers aren't running jack. Where do they come up with this stuff? That's a quote from Senate Finance Committee Chairman Orrin Hatch. "These nonprofit consumer-run health plans were intended to improve coverage, increase competition, and provide more affordable options." No, BS, Orrin. They were not intended to be consumer-run health plans. They were not intended to improve coverage. They were not intended or designed to increase competition. Because they haven't done any. Look, we've already explained. I've already laid out how you increase competition in health insurance. You do just like you did with every other kind. Why is it that only health insurance is being treated the way it is? Every other kind of insurance you can buy anywhere in the 50 United States, and even some of you can buy from overseas, and that's perfectly legal. But if you want to get a health insurance plan, you better live in a good state that has lots of companies competing. Because you can't buy from outside of your state boundaries. Well, what kind of nonsense is that? I mean, all the arguments that we heard about, needing state control of insurance companies and within the states, that was all blown out of the water when we got competition for auto and home insurance. Because, hey, there was already a model for real insurance competition. It was called life insurance. And then we opened up the doors for true competition in the areas of homeowners insurance and renters insurance and car insurance. And we saw rates plummet. We saw services increase. Now, no, it's not a perfect system. Sure, people still have problems collecting or what have you on policies that they have. But as a general rule, people are more satisfied with those types of coverages today than they were 20 years ago. And yet we can't do something as personal as health insurance, health coverage, the way we want to, freely. Now we're mandated to have a certain kind of coverage, whether we want it or not. Whether we need it or not. Oh, because, hey, if you're young and healthy, you got to pay for that older person. Well, we're already doing that in Medicare and Medicaid. We're already paying for them. Now we got to pay for everybody? In order to pay for everybody, well, that means rates have to go up so it can cover everybody. And look, folks, we're heading towards universal single-payer system that you're going to be mandated to go through because there isn't going to be any competition or any other way to go unless you have the cash and can fly your little sick butt outside of this country to someplace else. Yeah, I don't know what it's going to take. I do not know what it's going to take. There's another... I'm not going to go into this story, but there's another email gate brewing, and it has to do, evidently Virginia Democrats conspired against gun store Nova Firearms, according to emails. These emails are showing that that's what they did. They conspired against Nova Firearms. Yeah, it's only Monday. And this is how we have to start off the week. Kind of garbage. I don't. By the way, there's somebody who's popping out of the president. Now, frankly, I didn't even know this guy was in. But Larry Lessig, Lessig, according to Newsmax, has ended his presidential bid, citing restrictive debate rules. Larry Lessig, the Harvard professor and internet freedom advocate who waged a long-shot bid for the Democratic presidential nomination, said earlier today that he is ending his presidential campaign. He says, from the start, it was clear that getting into the Democratic debates was the essential step in his campaign. Lessig said in the video posted on YouTube. But last week we learned that the Democratic Party has changed its rules for inclusion in the debate, and under the new rules, unless we can time travel, there's no way that I will qualify, he says. So, well, some people might say, well, yeah, he's for internet freedom, but what you don't understand is that this guy's a leftist, and he thinks his idea of freedom is that internet freedom is that you have to pay for it. I mean, you shouldn't have to pay for access. So companies like Verizon and Comcast and Time Warner, they spent billions and billions of dollars investing in the infrastructure to make it work. This whole internet thing work. Oh well, they should have done it out of the goodness of their heart, I guess, according to Lessig. Nobody should have to pay for this. No, what we need is more competition in it, but it's very difficult to get that competition when you have government standing in the way. How many places in this country, still the vast majority, I'm sure, still only have one real cable company within their municipal jurisdiction? I mean, sure, you might have Verizon if you're lucky, but there's only one cable company. And that is a government-sponsored monopoly. They call it a franchise. And that particular company pays the municipality a certain amount of money. It varies depending on the municipality, how they figure out the rate of that payment. But they pay the municipality, basically a tax, in order to be the only one in town. Let me tell you something. These cable companies, when it was starting to open up with things like DirecTV and Dish, and then Verizon with their Fios. So the cable companies were upset and pissed. How can you let them? This is why early on, Congress had passed a law, which they recently rescinded and changed and all kinds of stuff. And the FCC changed the regulations on it when they said you couldn't keep a dish from being put up anywhere. And, it could. Lots of places still resisted, and then I remember living in a condo community, and I fought with them. I said, "Look, we want to put up a dish. You can't do that." Well, the FCC says that we can. You can't stop us. Well, we're not so sure that that's what they mean. We're waiting for clarification. Well, until then, I'm going to put one up. Well, you can't put one up. Well, the government says you can't prevent me. But we're not sure that that's what they mean. So we went through this argument for 2 years. I wanted DirecTV. I wanted the NFL Sunday Ticket. So for 2 years, I fought with the condo board, who was made up of people. It was a condo. A real estate firm that was handling all that, and they were the ones making the decision. And our stupid condo board was listening to this real estate agent, management company, and not thinking, well, geez, maybe the residents of this community would like to have satellite dish. We can put ordinances in place and have them, they have to be on the roof, and they can't be, They got to be they can't be so big or can't be in certain, places in the. No. They just capitulate and say, okay. I went to a condo meeting, and that's exactly what the condo board made up of residents and owners did. They just capitulated to the real estate company because the real estate company didn't want to deal with it. Well, because you can't have anything from the outside penetrating into the inside because you don't own the outside. Well, that's kind of asinine because obviously we have lights on the outside, right? Yeah. Your front door, your back door, you got lights on the outside, right? Yes. Well, that light is powered by electricity, which has a line that obviously has to go into the building. From the outside. Yes, and your point, Mr. Eccles? I guess I don't have a point. This is the type of idiocy that we get on a national level. It's nothing more than an arrogance because these people are on a power trip that think that they have the right to tell you how to live your life. Well, you see, Mr. Government, I only need a major medical plan. Nope. You got to have the kind of plan we tell you because you need it. No, I don't need it, and I don't want it. I want this plan. Well, that plan for you is illegal, so you can't have it because we said so. And most Americans will just throw up their hands, shrug their shoulders, and say, okay. That's how we get this stuff, and it stays around because nobody wants to fight to get rid of it. And then we keep electing the same people who are not willing to fight for us. And then we sit back and complain, well, no, Boehner isn't doing anything. Well, how many times did Boehner get reelected? How many times? And even you people from Ohio were sitting back complaining about Boehner's his performance. But then what did you do? You reelected him time and time again. Look, it takes more than just talking about this stuff. It takes action. You people got to get out there and you've got to take action because, as I've said before, you're the government. You and I are this government. And if we have this kind of government, it is because it's the government that we put into place and we have allowed to stay. You got TSA people out there that are still groping and fondling people. Why? Because we, the people, have decided that we're going to keep electing the people who aren't going to fight this. So of course we're going to end up with that. And it's going to stay. Hell, we had welfare reform, and it was working under Clinton. And then we elected people that said, oh, we need to fix welfare. Okay, we'll elect you. And then they screwed it all up again. Now we've come to the part where we have somebody who is running on the Democratic ticket that is openly admitting that he's a socialist, bordering on communist. And he openly admits, yeah, my plan will cost $18 trillion. So stop talking about her damn emails and talk about my plan to bankrupt America. And yet, you know what? Bernie Sanders keeps getting elected in Vermont. So, if you Vermonters out there are complaining about Bernie, well, hey, you elected him. Oh, you Californians complain about Barbara Boxer and Nancy Pelosi. Well, you elected them. You Arizonans complain about, John McCain. Well, you elected him. When it comes right down to it, It's not their fault, really. People in elected office. It's not their fault. You're probably saying, how is it not their fault, Rod? Because you elected them. I know I get this all the time. Well, I didn't vote for him. Well, I didn't vote for him either. But you know what? If true conservatives aren't out there winning, being elected, it means that those of us who are constitutional conservatives, myself included, are not doing our job well enough. Plain and simple. I know some people are sitting back now, folding their arms, saying, it's not my fault. I voted for the other guy. I voted for the conservative. Well, how many people did you convince to vote the way you voted? You know, when I ask that question, oftentimes I get this answer. Oh, I don't tell people how I vote. It's private. No, it's not, actually. Your voting record is not private because it affects us all publicly. So if you're not out there espousing for a certain candidate that has constitutional conservative values, you're part of the problem. There's a lot of people to blame, and it's not just the left. I mean, I hate the fact that I have to say that, but it's the truth. I mean, go out there and be a blowhard. I don't care. That's probably what's needed. Be a loud voice like me. Don't be shut up. But don't ever come back to me and tell me that your voting record is private, because it is not private. It is a public issue because it affects us all. Even if I don't live in your state, your decision about who you send to Washington obviously affects me. It's not private. And you need to get off your lazy ass and start being a blowhard and start espousing what you believe to people around you and start convincing them that your way is the right way, because the other people out there are convincing enough other people on the other side to go and vote for their candidate or for some lazy ass, moderate, and they get elected and do what they want them to do. And they're the minority. And they act like the majority. And we, the majority, sit around and start complaining, well, man, I didn't vote for them and I didn't vote for... But did you tell anybody else to vote for the guy that you wanted? Probably not. So again, I say, we the people... all of us have gotten the government that we, the people, elected. And until we start taking a different take on this and start taking personal responsibility on how we go out there and vote and how we spread the word and how we convince other people and to convince other people to vote in a constitutional conservative manner, we too are at fault. And we're going to end up with more jackasses like Obama. Not just as president, but as senators and congressmen on both a state and federal level. And one day when you wake up, you're going to wake up and say, hey, Sonny, let me tell you about the country I once grew up in. It was once free. Sorry, you don't know about it. That'll be a sad day, and that day is coming. We're just getting started, so week's just beginning. But until then, have a wonderful evening. I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out.